With this, I'd like to invite Professor V. Venkata Ramana, Vice Chairman of Telangana State Council of Higher Education. A huge round of applause for him. I'm sure a lot of innovation done in the state of Telangana, and that can be shared by him. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, and I think I'm standing before lunch and the end of this session, but I'll probably speak not more than 4 to 5 minutes. But what a wonderful event it has been since morning, and I've particularly enjoyed the initial speech given by Dr. Kalpana Gopalan, who gave a kind of a bird's eye view about what COVID was, how it affected us, and how governments, private sector, entrepreneurs, and all of us took the initiative to come out of it, and what next. I would not like to talk about what we have gone through, but I must really congratulate the directors of the IITs and also the industry speakers and also the UP Skill Development Mission, etc. As you know, as mentioned just now, Telangana is the youngest state. It's almost 8 years now. And already we were home to pharma, biotech, IT. I know Karnataka and Telangana, and they go in a competitive kind of a good, healthy competition. But I must say that during the pandemic, we realized that some of the things we were doing were not probably in line with the changing kind of paradigms in the field of education, health delivery, etc., etc. I must admit that even at the State Council, what we realized was that many of the higher educational institutions, because we look after the higher education space, were not really in tune with what's happening. For example, the curriculum was outdated. What you teach is predictable examinations, predictable outcomes, predictable placements, and predictable so on and so forth. So there's no question of a student thinking out of box. And if it happens in the universities, what would happen to the rest of the institutions? So we took upon ourselves the job of completely disrupting the educational system in a positive manner. And we are still working on it. One of the first things we did was constitute committees on reforms in higher education, because we thought the reform should start from us. So we said, let's talk to our vice chancellors, let's improve our governance, let's improve our response system. For example, I know in the IT space, we need real-time verification of the certificates. I have convened a meeting with all the IT majors in Telangana, and one of the things they said was, we want to verify the antecedents of a student. Of course, there are background check companies and all that, but as a government, as a university, as a body of the government, statutory body, we started thinking, why don't we link it up with our IT department? We have now done a demo. We have not done a prototype kind of a thing. It's just ready for launch. The Honorable IT Minister is going to launch it shortly. What it means is, like any other university in Singapore or US, real-time, immediate verification of the certificate. Anybody and everybody can take it. There are two ways in it. One is a short verification, which will just tell that Venkata Ramana had passed in so and so, so and so. But if you really want to have, again, details, the university will have to take it up. And these are some of the, one of the things. The second thing we thought was the curriculum aspects. What we were doing in the engineering education, I'm sorry to say, many of the directors of IITs, former vice chancellors, current vice chancellors, deans, academicians are sitting in this. We did not want to have a kind of a model which only caters to the elite. We are certainly grounded, and we want this last mile connectivity of whatever we do to reach to the rural masses. When I'm talking of a tribal boy in Adilabad who has not got access to bandwidth, access to technology, access to faculty, access to clean water. So my concern, or the concern of the government, was to reach to that last mile student, a girl who doesn't know many of the issues which a city-bred boy will do. For example, we talk about placements and fantastic salary packets. We said we'll not work on placement-driven curriculum. We'll look at building an individual who can create new products and services, who can be an innovator, who can think out of box, who can be a socially responsible, ethically and morally trained student. I have a university which I'm presently associated as part of my assignment, which is called Rajiv Gandhi University of Knowledge Technology. Believe me, if you go to that institute, you will know the real problems of rural universities, rural students. Kids are very bright, picked up from 10th class toppers from mandals. They just can't land up there. And our job is to make them employable, make them good citizens, and we are trying to do that. What we do them there is just not classroom teaching. We have to do grooming, we have to do etiquette, we have to do for the girl children, menstrual health, issues, hygiene. I mean, as an academic administrator, I'm trying to impress upon you that we want to work for the lots of students who do not have this Hyderabad or a Bangalore advantage. So we went to the industry, and I must tell you, and I was particularly impressed by Mr. Dipankar Bhattacharya, who spoke about the lack of interest in mechanical, civil, electrical. I'm really surprised all over the country, people are flocking into engineering colleges, some substandard, some do not need to be there to pursue computer science, IT, AI, ML, whatever you call it. I am a strong advocate of taking fundamental, I'm not an engineer myself, but since I sit in the planning of the educational curricula, I think we should strengthen this. The second thing I appeal to all of you, as again an academic administrator and a state government vice chairman of the statutory body, we should not lure students in the third semester, because what's happening in my campuses, the student once gets placed, is lacking interest to pursue the course. And unless we give foundational knowledge, conceptual, theoretical, whatever you call it. Last thing we did was interact with the companies. As I heard the speakers, we look at collaborations, and COVID has taught us that it can be a solution from someone unknown to us. For example, I met a gentleman who said that I have a solution for the higher education department. I said, please reach us directly. We arranged a meeting with our honorable minister, and then it's on now. And it's a very low cost kind of a solution. I'm not talking about a high cost, high tech thing. What we believe is not high tech, but high touch. What we believe is technology the fore. What we believe is technology should create solutions for those who do not have access. Having said that, one of our primary goal of the state is to enhance multidisciplinary education. Again, as I said, the problem with Indian higher education system, I have a big text written speech, but I'm avoiding that, is that we educate students in silos. The guy in mechanical doesn't want to talk with the IT guy. The IT guy doesn't want to interact, even see the civil guy. And gender. 70% of my universities in Telangana are women. We have not planned for the women education in this country, and I'm very openly saying. So now we are looking at, and enrollment is growing. Telangana has got an enrollment of 36% on an average, whereas the national average is 27, and NEP talks about 50. So if you really want to talk to 50, Canada, US, etc., what is that we'll do? I'll conclude in hardly 30 seconds. The key challenges, as I see, are enrollment, increasing the enrollment, equity, quality is better. I think all of us know about it. Infrastructure, unless we develop infrastructure, not a very high cost infrastructure, but low cost dorms and low cost accommodation, low cost medical, low cost self-sustaining kind of campuses. I'm a very strong, again, as I say, we are discouraging huge campuses, because if Stanford and Harvard and Cornell can be on 30 acres, 40 acres, why do universities require 5,000, 2,000 acres? I have seen myself the security bills of these universities. Sometimes we feel we'll have to probably, these are some facts from the administrator's perspective. Though I'm also a full professor at the University of Hyderabad before coming on deputation to the government of Telangana. We need to look at research and innovation. We have created a group called RICH, Research and Innovation Circle of Hyderabad. We have made a former dean of ISB, the DG, with full powers. And he will be coordinating with all the research institutions, no matter whether they are central or state, and work on new innovations, frugal innovations, grassroots innovations, and showcase them through a Telangana State Innovation Cell. We are the first state to have an innovation officer, chief innovation officer, and we do something called Intinta innovation. That means every house is an innovator. And we get school children to showcase their things. So important issues are, while we talk about virtual, while we talk about hybrid, while we talk about, the most important thing is that we should work efficiently, engaging in many forms of diversity. Our first generation college grads are there. So Delhi is not Hyderabad, Hyderabad is not Karimnagar. So we talk about first generation learners who have different needs than their traditional college peers. Technology can be a great leverage point, but students too face many difficulties. The expectations of faculty, needless to say, have to be addressed. If you really want to develop good quality institutions, good quality faculty have to be taken. And we have just formed this Telangana State Recruitment Board, where we are going to hire 2,000 university teachers as a centralized agency to work with the universities, and which can be used as a kind of a talent pool. And lastly, the opportunities. Having said some of the problems, I should now talk about opportunities that India as a whole can be a torchbearer for the field of education, as you are all aware. And suggestions could be that government should play less role, private and university autonomous institutions should work together. I'm happy APSC has taken this real good initiative, focus on student, multidisciplinary approach, and of course, focus on overall development of the student, the institution, and the state. I appeal to all the industry bodies, representatives here, presidents of universities, of course, senior bureaucrats, to kind of look at Telangana as a partner state. I'll be very happy to work with you. And we have signed many MOUs, but I have seen many MOUs don't work unless the intent is there, unless the commitment is there. And I'm here standing before you to mention that we are ready to work with all of you, and let's try to make a difference. And as they say, coming together is a beginning. I request all of you to kindly work with us, and we are ready to partner and work with you. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thanks, Professor Venkata Ramana, for helping me by being short and crisp. That makes my life easy because you're already running short of time. But thank you so much. Yes, we all know kind of innovation being done in the state of Telangana. You mentioned that last mile connectivity, also reaching out to the student who's staying in the far away district in Telangana, how to reach out to them with the education, access to education, as we say, education for all, and kind of work being done. You talked about the women empowerment in the education sphere, and the kind of enrollment percentage that's remarkable. And at the same time, I must mention the huge work being done in the state when you talk about the T-Hub. How they are nurturing the startup innovation. They have come up with the 2.0, if I'm not wrong, T-Hub 2.0. That also shows the commitment and the intent of the state to transform the state in terms of education and technology and startup ecosystem as a whole. Thank you so much.